Hey everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is all of the meals that we had last week, the recipes for those meals, the cost per meal, and how I made them. We ended up cooking 5 nights, and 4 of those 5 nights we had leftovers for both Luke and I for lunch the next day. I've said this before, but just to warn you, I am very picky when it comes to my food. I go with really simple ingredients. They all have lots of flavor, but I just keep the meals very basic. The meals we had for this week were orange chicken with white rice and broccoli, a dish that is called Dijon Chicken Crunch. It's a recipe I got off of HelloFresh's website, and we served that with asparagus and a piece of garlic bread. We had chicken cutlets with garlic butter spaghetti. That one is perfect if you have young kids or picky kids. We had a chicken stir fry. And then our last meal was a brown sugar bourbon pork chop glaze with mashed potatoes and asparagus. So let's dive right into the meals. So our first meal was the Dijon Chicken Crunch. Like I said, I got this off of HelloFresh's website. So a few years ago, Luke and I subscribed to HelloFresh and we got the meals. They were all really good. Like, we never found one that we didn't like, but it was just a little too expensive for our budget. So we stopped getting the meals, but I really liked the recipes. So I went online to see if you could access those for free, and you can. So I still go to the HelloFresh website and look up meals. They have them based on like calorie control or like low carb or like dietary restrictions. So if you're ever like looking for something, I would check there because they have really good recipes. They're all very similar to the way I cook, which is basic ingredients. You use the same ingredients a lot of times, but they have so much flavor. They're amazing. So for this recipe, it couldn't be simpler. Just salt and pepper your chicken, squirt some Dijon on there, and that acts as a glue. And then you're going to sprinkle your cheese and then your fried onions on top of that. And then it's ready to go in the oven. Like I said, it could not be simpler. And then if you just stick a veggie on your sheet pan too, it's a whole sheet pan dinner, no dishes. It's perfect. 7 o'clock. I just got home from work at like 15 minutes ago. Like, I just walked in the door and Luke had stuff out so I could work on dinner. So that's what I'm doing. Since I am getting home so late, I just wanted to do a sheet pan meal, and that's the Dijon Chicken Crunch that I have, or that I had said on my platforms that I was going to be making one night. So that's what we're having tonight. It's just, you saw me make it super easy, super quick. And then, yes, we're good with just the chicken and asparagus, but I'm hungry and pregnant. So we're going to have just a slice of bread each. This is just sourdough that we had froze from, I bought it with last week's groceries and we didn't eat it all, so we just stuck it in the freezer so it didn't go bad. So I'm just gonna go ahead and slather a little bit of cheesy goodness here on it and stick it in there, and we'll eat that with our dinner. You saw me put the chicken and the asparagus in the oven already. And yep, for those wondering, I go to work looking like a hot mess just like this. And it's all right. So the reason I still have the chicken out, I know it's out and I've got to hurry up and get something done with it and get it back into the fridge because it can't be at room temp. But since I'm going to be using it throughout the week, but I buy my groceries at the end of the week, I am actually going to prep the chicken like if I need it cubed or in strips or pounded down. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and then I'm gonna freeze it, and then that way when I go to thaw it out, it'll already be however I need it for next week. So that's why it's out, because I'm gonna prep it real quick and I'll show you that too. Isabella is down at the baseball game in town with her friends. Grayson just came and said he was gonna go on a walk by himself. So Dad said, I'll go on a walk with you. So they left to go on a walk. So it's just me inside. Me and brother are inside. When I'm up moving, you know, he's really still, but as soon as I sit down to eat dinner, he'll be bouncing off the walls in there. All right, we'll see how this tastes. I really loaded this bread, so. All right. Okay, and I'm just going to bake it on the foil that I had it wrapped in. So I'm just gonna stick it in the oven just like this. Okay, in a couple more minutes, I'm gonna move around that asparagus. I don't know if you saw, but it was like really jam-packed on that baking sheet. Like it didn't really have much room, so I definitely need to move it around a little bit, make sure it's all getting evenly cooked. Okay, let's go ahead and get this chicken prepped. Honestly, because my peppers are looking so bad, like they're about done for, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cook my stir fry tonight and freeze it, and then on the night we're gonna eat it. All we have to do is thaw it. So I'm definitely gonna take care of that tonight. All right, let's prep this chicken. I'm gonna start with cutlets because that is the most time consuming. Still cold, we're still good. It's not too warm yet. No one's gonna get sick. Yeah, I am a baby with my chicken. I waste probably way too much, but I don't like it to be chewy at all, so. Okay, so I'm just cutting my breast in half, and then I'm gonna pound it down with my tenderizer. I try to get my chicken as thin as I can without breaking it all apart. Oh, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. This one ended up huge, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it in half. So a lot of people were commenting on this grocery haul that I did with this batch of food, like that chicken's not gonna last you very long, stuff like that. And the reason it lasts me so long is because one, they're really thick breasts, but two, like, you know, this is one chicken breast and I've already got like 3 servings out of it. I mean, they're thin, yes, but remember, you know, these are chicken cutlets, so they're gonna be breaded. You know, it'll fill you up more. And then this is being served with spaghetti, so that'll, you know, be filling in itself. So, you know, sometimes protein, obviously you want a lot of, right? We all need protein, but we're on a budget too, so, you know, stretching my protein is really helpful for budgeting. Go ahead and cut off this little bit. This one's okay. Well, I'll go ahead and cut it in half again, just so it fits nice in the pan when I fry it. All right, these are about as thin as I'm gonna be able to get them before they fall apart. And this foil, it looks like it's used. It is. It was the foil that sourdough was wrapped in. I'm just reusing it before I throw it away, might as well. I'm just putting it on the foil so it kind of separates it a little bit better. Makes it easier to thaw later. I'll get another piece of foil for that. Okay, how many cutlets did I do? 1, 2, 1. I don't know. We're gonna go ahead and call that, should I call that good or should I do a little bit more? Let's do just a little bit more. My kids are picky when it comes to like regular meals like this, but this is one thing they just eat the crap out of. So I better make sure I've got enough chicken for everybody. I'm just gonna cut it in half. Go ahead and cut it in half. And then cut it lengthwise. All right, pound this one down too. All right, there we go. These are our cutlets. That one's done. Let me go ahead and wash my hands, get this in a bag. Oh, I never did move that asparagus around. Let's do that. Let me go ahead and clean up the cutlets. And please don't think that I'm like cross-contaminating everything. I promise you, when I'm working with chicken, I wash my hands constantly. Okay, these are done. Since it's for this coming week's dinners, I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in the freezer in the house. So let's go ahead and dice some for orange chicken. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite recipes. I can't wait till orange chicken night. I do bites about like an inch or so. So back to the cross-contamination. When you see me working with chicken, you'll notice the hand that I'm cutting with, my right hand, is the one I'll use to touch stuff until I get my hands washed. Okay, this is the chicken for orange chicken. It doesn't look like a lot, but again, it gets coated with panko and flour, and we have rice and broccoli, so if this is a lot. I think it'll fit in this quart bag. Let's write on it. And orange chicken is not something my kids are gonna eat. So this is 2 servings here, and it's more than enough. I'll probably have, I usually have at least 1 serving to take to work for lunch the next day. All right, this one's ready. I have 2 breasts left. I'm assuming I'll use them both for stir fry, but we'll wait and see how much chicken this looks like. Yeah, I'll probably use them both. I cut my chicken into strips for stir fry. How do you guys cut yours when you have stir fry? And it's really simple. Like, I didn't want to buy a bunch of stuff for stir fry, so I've got peppers here that I already had, onions that I already had. I'll just throw a bag of frozen broccoli in when we reheat it. So I've got that. And then I'm just gonna do this chicken, and that's all that's gonna be in there. If I, had a few extra dollars in the grocery budget, I would have bought like the water chestnuts. I know some people don't like those. They have like no flavor, but I love the crunch that they have. Oh, and I have carrots too, so I'm gonna put carrots in with this. And then like the star of my stir fry is the sauce that I buy. It's really good. I'll show you what it is.
Hey. Hey, Mom.
Hey, how was the walk?
Good.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Well, I was so worn out.
I bet you guys got a really good workout.
Yeah, we did.
You had a lot of coolest run the whole time.
Yeah. I've been riding my scooter and she said talk to 1.
Oh, you had to run because of the scooter? Food is ready. I'm just, I went ahead and took care of the chicken so we wouldn't have to do it. And I put it in the freezer, so Dea will just grab, like one says like it's cubed for orange chicken, one is already in cutlet form for cutlets, so it'll be really easy. Whew, I think I can smell your orange.
Is it good?
Smells good, yeah.
It tastes good too.
Awesome.
He can have that.
Oh, here. It's on the stove.
Huh?
I was talking to Daddy. What?
Very dirty.
Oh, is it? Oh, it is. And then, I'm gonna make.
Look good.
Yeah, it does look good. I'm gonna make a Shirley Temple. Do you want one?
Sure.
And then here is our finished meal, ready to eat. This meal seriously could not be any easier. Okay, so Luke and I went ahead and ate our supper. So, and I got all the chicken done except for, I'm gonna go ahead and make that stir fry like I said, because the peppers are gonna be bad before we have time to eat them. So, this right here is the stir fry sauce I use. This is like what I called was like the secret ingredient to a good stir fry. I literally only put bell pepper, carrot, and onion in this stir fry, and I still thought it tasted really good. On the night we had planned to eat it, Luke had to take our daughter somewhere, so I thawed out the whole cooked meal, but then I only heated what I was going to eat, and then I put the rest of it into containers and left it in the fridge because, you know, you can't like reheat chicken over and over again. I ended up making minute rice to go with this. I didn't cook it ahead of time because if you've ever had minute rice, it takes literally like 5 minutes, I think. So there was no point in cooking that ahead of time. So has anyone else tried this stir fry sauce? It is my absolute favorite. I know it's jam-packed full of sodium, I'm sure, but it is so good. After I'd fully cooked the chicken, I let the stir fry sit for a bit to cool off, and then I started to bag it. As you'll notice, I left the bag too close to the stove, so it melted a hole through the bag, so I actually had to double bag it, but that's all right. Now moving on to a different day. This was orange chicken night, my favorite night. Like always, we're going shopping in the pantry to get all the ingredients we need, and like always, I definitely should have made 2 trips. This probably seems like my most difficult recipe, and there are a lot of steps, but I promise it's really simple. And the more often you make it, the easier it is. Now, I don't have the recipe in front of me. I will have it down in the description box, but basically just put your chicken in a bowl, and then you're going to put in some orange zest, minced garlic, soy sauce, salt and pepper. You're going to mix it up and then just stick it in the fridge for about 20 minutes to marinate. And while that's marinating, I go ahead and get my breading station ready. So it's flour, egg, panko. You get all of your chicken fried, and then you're going to toss it in a sauce at the end. One thing you need to be really cautious of when making orange chicken is the panko. So anytime you're using panko, you need to make sure your grease is not insanely hot because it does not take to the heat as well as flour does, and it will burn fairly quickly. And I try not to fill my pan with too much oil because the panko will burn your grease and make it unusable. Sometimes, you can salvage the grease in the pan and use it again another time, but once you've used panko, I find that it's pretty much unusable after that first time. So the sauce is really simple. Again, I don't have the recipe in front of me, but it's basically chicken stock, sugar, orange juice, and then you'll just bring that to a simmer and then add in your slurry to thicken it, and that's it. Again, it's one of my absolute favorite meals and it reheats really well. Now here we are back in the pantry again for another meal. I'm just going to try and guess what we're making based on what I'm grabbing here. Well, there's potatoes, so I think the only meal we had with those instant mashed potatoes was the pork chops. So this is the brown sugar bourbon pork chops. And I know I've told you guys before, but I don't personally love instant potatoes. However, that's what I had, so that's what we're making. And I'm just slicing up some scallions to go in the mashed potatoes, along with some butter, because if I'm gonna have instant mashed potatoes, then I like to dress it up really well. And there you saw me prepping the glaze, which was just Dijon mustard, chicken stock, and some brown sugar. Like I said earlier, you're going to start noticing a theme here. I'm using a lot of the same ingredients. So I'm using the chicken stock from the can that I used in the orange chicken. I'm using Dijon mustard like I did earlier in the week for Dijon chicken crunch. That's one thing I loved learning about with HelloFresh was how versatile one ingredient can be. Like you can use it in a lot of different things. Sometimes you go online to find a recipe and it gives you like a list of 10 items and you'll use an eighth of a bottle or a 16th of a bottle, and then you've got that bottle sitting in your fridge going bad because you never need it for another dish. So that's why I like to use really basic ingredients. I can reuse them a lot. It saves me money, but I still get a lot of flavor in my meals. So the pork chops were really self-explanatory. I used a fork to puncture them, to tenderize them a little bit and to get the seasoning down into the meat. And then I just put them on my hot griddle that I had drizzled with oil, and I also cooked my asparagus on there. I just salt and peppered my asparagus. The seasoning I used on the pork chops was the McCormick brown sugar bourbon seasoning. It's one of our favorites, but as you can see here, it really does a number on your griddle. That brown sugar really caramelizes quickly. I'm sure if my husband was the one cooking this meal, it wouldn't look like that. I'm not really sure what I should have done differently. I don't know if I should have had more oil on my griddle or what. But anyways, the glaze was not going to work on that griddle, so I moved everything over to a pan. I first warmed the glaze up in the pan, simmered it, and then added my pork chops and basted those with the glaze. And then I had made my instant mashed potatoes. I put some butter and scallions in there. Like I said, I also did salt, pepper, sugar, and the meal was complete. It was really, really tasty. The glaze really elevated the pork chop. I loved it. It was super yummy. So the next night is when I had the chicken stir fry. No explanation there. We've already talked about it and cooked it. I just added my minute rice to it and it was ready to go. It was really good. I probably could have ate like 3 bowls, but I stopped at the 1. And then here we are the next night back in the pantry shopping for the ingredients I need for the chicken cutlets and spaghetti. Brace yourself. This is the most intricate dinner you'll ever have. So you just need to set up your breading station, flour, egg, panko. Season your chicken with salt and pepper, run it through the breading station, fry it, and the cutlets are ready. While that's going on, go ahead and cook your spaghetti. And that's all there is to it. Now, a lot of times when I make this, I will turn Luke and I's into a chicken parm situation, but we're really watching the budget, so it was just an added step I didn't need to take. And the meal was good as it was. I didn't do this on camera, but when the spaghetti noodles were ready, I just drained them, tossed them in about a cup of butter and some garlic salt, and that's all we did. Here is kind of a rough cost breakdown of each night's meals. The chicken cutlets were $3.84 for 4 servings. The Dijon chicken crunch was $11 for 4 servings. The pork chops were $3.60 for 3 servings. The orange chicken was $11 for 4 servings, and the stir fry was $7.44 for 4 servings. And when you compare that to the fact that I'm spending like $50 when Luke and I go out with the kids, I was pretty okay with those numbers. And that was our meals for the week. I will try to post this just about every week if I can. Next Sundays will be on the meals that I bought for this last grocery pickup. Those meals are stuffed shells, which you've already seen me make, goulash, fish tacos, cheesy chicken broccoli and rice, and chicken Alfredo. Which recipe are you most excited to try from today's episode? Let me know in the comments. If you liked this video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and if you aren't already, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all on Thursday. Thanks for watching.